Hello, hello. Happy Motivational Monday. My name is Kira. I am your host every week for our LifeGuides Connect Motivational Monday. And we're coming up on the end of season one. So we have today's session, which is all about your daily dose of happiness. And we're going to be talking about what happiness does in the body and how to create the circumstances in your life to experience more happiness and more of the greatness that happiness creates in our worlds. And then next week, we do have a holiday pop-up. It is not recorded. It is only the live session. And it's just a pop-up session I wanted to do a couple of days before we all step into the holidays because I know that they can be a lot. And if I can help you have them be a little less, a lot, then I'm here to help you do that. So drop 111 in the chat if you feel like that is going to be helpful for you. And I just dropped the link so you can register here. It's a brand new link. It's just a pop-up. It's not on the normally scheduled programming. Cool. Oh, I love that, Patty and Julanda. Cool. I mean, it's gonna help me. Being able to get my mind right and get these sessions created for you is always helpful for me. And last week we did talk about how to have healthier relationships and how to navigate positive relationships in our lives. And what that looks like is really focusing on the intention that we want for our relationships and then the challenges that are in it, and allowing ourselves to move forward in maybe some of the strugglesome parts of our relationships with a little bit more communication, a little bit more gratitude, and a little bit more focus on the end goal than the challenges that we're just experiencing over and over with these people. And we're about to be really close to our families, so it's a great time to start having these conversations. Oh, we did just finish our financial well-being series last week. You can find all of our recordings on our YouTube, and I can drop the YouTube link here for you. So if you want to tune into our financial well-being series, we had people saving $1,200 within 30 days. We have people on track to pay their mortgages 5 years sooner than they were anticipating paying off their mortgages. We have people who have completely removed their debt through the financial well-being series. Like the list goes on and on and on, and it's been really amazing. So the recordings are there for you to access. We also have our link tree, which has all of the worksheets that we also use during it. So there's that for you. And without further ado, we're going to get started. So today's session is called Your Daily Dose of Happiness. And the reason why is because happiness is so important, but you want to know what's crazy? I love statistics. I don't know if you guys have realized this yet. I'm a very like flowy, spiritual, emotional person, but I also love statistics as we're looking at information and teaching because it gives us more guidance in what's actually happening and how we can shift things. So, what's wild is that 37% of people around the world are unhappy on a daily basis. So that means if you're looking at three people out in public, one out of three of them is unhappy at any given moment. And drop 222 in the chat if you can relate to that. And what's interesting is that thank you all so much for being vulnerable. This makes me so happy to see. And look, we're getting a lot of numbers. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 23. That's literally about 37%. So, what? The statistics right? Surprise, surprise. Oh, I know some of you are here specifically for my earrings, and these are my rooster earrings. I just got them yesterday. They're straight from the island of Puerto Rico, and the roosters actually have significant meaning in our culture. So, these are the earrings of the day. I know you were waiting for me to mention them, and I hope that they made you happy. I love it. He goes, I'm here for it. Okay, so I actually, before I tell you what I'm about to tell you, I feel like I want to know your perception and your perspective. So, when you think of happiness or maybe unhappiness, what either makes you happy or what makes you unhappy? And put it in the chat. And I'm curious about this specifically because there's a common way that people think about happiness. And it's one of the things that's motivated so much of my own change is seeing this out in the world, but actually seeing the statistics about it, I'm like, oh, this is quite interesting. Okay, I'm sure you guys are typing. I'm sure you have a whole novel. I'm sure you guys are just so engaged. Okay, cool. Food makes me happy. Same. I'm Puerto Rican and Italian. Food makes me so happy. So Time with my son. Oh, I love that, Patty. Spending time with my husband makes me happy. Accomplishing something. Amanda, we're going to be talking about that. I love that you said that. Actually, all of these are really valid for what we're going to be talking about. Singing makes me happy. Having a vacation to look forward to. Jamie, that is so wholesome. Jamie says crochet. How cute. Okay, so we've got things that make us happy. I love this. Now, the common thing that most people think about when it comes to happiness is through career achievement or material items. Drop 333 in the chat if you can relate to that. So we just finished our financial well-being series. We did it through the last 3 months of the year. The first 3 months of the year are going to be our Being Human First series, which is all about how to be instead of do and achieve. Because a lot of us are making good money, live in the cute little homes, live the American dream, but a bunch of us are unhappy, and that's a problem. That's something that I don't subscribe to as a Kira, but I've had to spend a lot of years intentionally unsubscribing from that, realizing that I'm here to just be me first, and then everything else is a beautiful byproduct of that. So, we are going to be talking about a little bit about like happiness as a whole, and then we're going to be diving into the hormones. But the truth is that you can create the foundations for happiness on your own internally without the career achievements or without the material items, all of these things that are outside of us, right? So, and it can be as simple as getting a good night's sleep. And what was interesting that I learned is that when you get more sleep, it's easier for you to remember positive things and ideas. But when you get less sleep, it's easier for you to remember negative ideas and negative things. So sleep as a whole is so important. Men can get anywhere from like 6 to 8 hours of sleep and be good. Women, they just started doing studies on women. Women need anywhere from 10 to 12 hours of sleep every single night for our hormones to be functioning properly. And this is a whole conversation about the happiness hormones. So if you're a woman who operates on like 4 to 5 hours of sleep and is super stressed out and doesn't know how to be happy in your life, it can be as simple as just starting with sleep. Okay? Yeah, Patty says, I need more sleep. Me too, girl. I know these statistics and I still need more sleep. So, lack of happiness contributes to poor overall health, like as a whole. Depression is linked to a lack of happiness hormones, and the lack of happiness can lead to fatigue, lack of motivation, and feeling anxious. Drop 444 in the chat if you feel any of those on a regular basis. I was feeling a lot of those on a regular basis. Did you want to know what I prioritized? I actually prioritized going to the gym because going to the gym releases one of your happiness hormones. And it was a lot easier than sitting down and meditating every day. A lot of you relate, right? A lot of you relate to feeling that anxiety or that fatigue or the lack of motivation. And sometimes if we're only focusing on doing and achieving, then yeah, it's like this endless hamster wheel that we can never get off of. And it actually turns off our motivation because we're no longer motivated in that way. We have four primary hormones that are linked to happiness in our bodies, and we can do certain things and certain actions that will activate those in our body and will allow us to feel even more focused, even more driven, even more satisfied in our lives. And it comes from this place of internal motivation and not external motivation. So sometimes the external motivation is telling us what to do, but we don't feel happy and we feel fatigued, but we do it anyway. That is not using your happiness hormones to function properly in your body. Benefits of happiness. Improved overall health. So our heart health increases and we have a lower risk of heart disease. We all know that heart disease is one of the main killers in America. It combats the stress hormone cortisol, and the stress hormone cortisol can cause so many health challenges in your body, and it also contributes to a stronger immune system. Happiness improves creativity and problem solving. Happiness benefits the community through actual community involvement. Happiness gives you more positive relationships. You're able to enjoy life more, and you're actually able to get through life's challenges easier. So there are four hormones. We've got dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. DOSE. So like it's our daily dose of happiness, right? So dopamine is linked to determination to accomplish goals, desires, and needs. And once it's achieved, dopamine gives us a surge of pleasure. It's highly addictive. and it can lead to bad habits or addiction. So remember when we first talked about the habit loop, our very first Motivational Monday? Drop 555 in the chat if you were on that call. We talked about how our body is wired for habits every single day. And some of us have this idea that we don't have any habits. But the thing is, everything we do is a habit. And it might just be an unconscious habit. So, dopamine can also lead to you continually perpetuating your bad habits, like maybe watching TV for 5 hours, if that's the opposite of what you're trying to do every day, because it's reinforcing the easiest thing to make you feel satisfied, whether or not it's something that's good for you, because our hormones are also based on habits as well. So it's like I was watching a video about dopamine. It's like dopamine is what's motivating the monkey to swing through the trees over and over to find its banana. And once it finally finds that banana, it gets that satisfaction of dopamine. But dopamine is very short-lived. You get it as you get the thing that you want. So that's why a lot of us are so addicted to dopamine, even in our jobs, because we're like, okay, I can achieve the next thing. I can cross it off my to-do list. I'm going to get the promotion. I'm going to get the raise. But it's actually, if you can just get addicted to it and just get in this little like perpetual hamster wheel, and it's not the best for you if you're not using it healthily in your life. So oxytocin motivates us to build intimate relationships and sustain them. We're a social species. We're literally meant to be social creatures and to be around people. And it's known as the cuddle hormone. It's known as the love hormone. It gives us the desire to stick close together with those that we trust. It creates a feeling of safety and comfort, and it boosts the immune system, which makes you more resistant to dopamine addiction because oxytocin gives you a lasting feeling of calm and safety. This happens to me when I get into relationships, and I'm curious if this happens to any of you. So drop 777 in the chat if you relate to what I'm about to say. I am a high achiever. I am a high performer. I am so driven and dedicated when I'm on a mission. And when I get into relationships, I actually feel less of that internal stress to achieve. And I feel more satisfied just being me and showing up as me and cooking for the people that I love. And I think it's why I have such a beautiful balance in my life now, because I've prioritized friendships and community and not just romantic relationships. But in romantic relationships, I'll start feeling that sense of satisfaction and that no longer that internal addiction to getting things done and achieving things, which I think is really good. And I like feeling that within myself. Yeah, some of you relate. We have serotonin, which rewards us with a good feeling when we feel significant or important. I love feeling important. I love feeling significant. I love doing Motivational Monday. It makes me feel important and it makes me feel significant. So it's linked to social power, loyalty, and status. And it results from finding opportunities in which to assert ourselves. But it's coming from a place of calm and not aggression. So it's this very calm form of confidence and accepting yourself with the people around you. So that conversation that we had last month about belonging versus fitting in, super huge when it comes to serotonin. The more that you find yourself belonging and being yourself rather than fitting in and becoming what everyone else wants you to be, you will have that internal sense of satisfaction. And it'll be calm and it'll be confident. And it motivates you as a leader to excel and grow. And it motivates the people around you to do the same, which is why being here on Motivational Monday is so amazing, because I come bearing all of this great energy, right? I've done a lot of work on myself, and you guys get to benefit and reap the rewards of that, and hopefully feel motivated just by me being here, being like, hey, we can do this a little bit differently. Let's show up a little bit better, right? And it's the feeling of not wanting to let someone down that causes this motivation too. So, like having a mentor, and that's why having an accountability partner is so important, because it's more than just you coming to the table now. It's you and someone else, and you don't want to let them down. And endorphins contribute to a brief euphoria that masks physical pain. So it's a response to pain and stress. It helps alleviate anxiety and depression, and it's triggered by any physical distress. So some people feel a runner's high when they exceed their limits. There are days when I am going well beyond my threshold to get some things done. Last week was like that. And at the end of it, I felt so satisfied and satiated, but empty. I was like, I'm done. My threshold has been completed, but it wasn't depleting. It was actually satisfying. And the same thing happens at the gym when I'm working out. I never thought I would be a gym girly, but apparently I am. I'm like doing my Arnold's and my things, and I'm like, I can't go anymore. I'm like, the timer hasn't gone. And I go more and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm pretty awesome. And it feels good. So I want to show you guys some of the actual activities you can do to activate these hormones in your body. So just like we just said, we have the happiness chemicals, and this is how they all operate and react in our bodies. When we get into deficiency, if we are in a dopamine deficiency, we procrastinate, we have low self-esteem, lack of motivation, low energy, and that's the one that's about accomplishment and like getting that thing, right? Oxytocin, the love hormone, the cuddle hormone, if we don't have that, we feel lonely, stressed, we feel a disconnect in our relationships, and we feel anxious. If I don't have people I love around me, I will feel anxious. Serotonin, that feeling of feeling significant and important. If we don't have that, we'll have low self-esteem, we'll be overly sensitive, we will feel hopeless, we will have social phobia, and maybe some of you feel these on a regular basis. Before I learned about these, I'm very aware of how all of this feels in my body, and I don't like it. And then endorphins, if you're not getting that sense of pushing yourself through things that are challenging, well, and it endorphins actually alleviate anxiety and depression. So maybe if you're feeling anxiety and depression and aches and pains, you're not releasing enough endorphins in your body. And then these are the activities to increase our happiness levels. So if you're like, wow, I really relate to the feeling of not having enough oxytocin, I definitely feel disconnect and I feel anxious and I definitely feel lonely, then maybe this week you're going to focus on oxytocin, physical touch. And if you don't have someone in your life that you can like hug on a regular basis, or a partner or friends that are like intimate and love physical touch, go and get a massage. That counts and that will release oxytocin. So, oh yeah, it says it right there. Socializing, getting a massage, listening to music, exercising, even cold showers are great for releasing oxytocin. And you'll see like a lot of these are doubled up. You can increase your serotonin and your oxytocin by taking a cold shower. Right here. Shower in serotonin, cold shower in oxytocin. So there's so much that we can do for ourselves by little things here. Little things. How to increase your happiness levels, none of these are crazy. And as we're beginning to close this out, I want you to choose one thing that you're going to do this week that's going to increase your happiness. Because right here, right now, on this call, in this very stinking moment, 37% of us are unhappy. And I'm not open to continuing to see that number rise. I'm open to continuing to see that number lower as we come more into our self satisfaction and our own wholeness and our own belonging and taking control of our own happiness. And sometimes it's just as easy as getting a massage and taking a cold little shower. And you don't have to take a cold shower. One of them said you could eat dark chocolate. Eat some dark chocolate this week. So that's the document that shows all the information that we just talked about with the happiness hormones. Maybe it's something that you print off. Maybe you make it a screensaver. But really, this is the work that we start to do where we get to prioritize our own happiness and the things that feel good for us, right? Okay, I'm going to drop some links. We're going to start closing this out, and I will see you next week for our Motivational Monday pop-up. So I hope that this was beneficial to you. Drop 888 in the chat if there have been some moments during this call today where you're like, okay, some things are starting to make a little bit more sense. I feel good. So again, next week we have our holiday pop-up Motivational Monday. I will be hosting it. I have a feeling it's going to be on relationship dynamics again. A lot of you have requested relationship dynamic conversations, so we're going to be doing that. No, December 30th is going to be our last call. And then we launch season 2 on January 6th, and it's going to be even more elevated than what we've been doing so far. So that's the link to our pop-up. And then for those of you who are looking to join Life Guides, have access, have a guide, have someone support you on your journey to life and just walk through life and hold hands with you, there's our link to register for your first call and book your first call and have a guide. And you can try some guides out, find someone who works for you, and go from there. You can read their profiles and connect with someone and be like, ooh, that's a human I want to be connected to. Especially for those of you who feel low on oxytocin, having a guide, amazing. Instant oxytocin boost, right? But other than that, that's all I got. So thank you all for being here. Happy Motivational Monday. I hope that you stay delusionally grateful as this beautiful month of December continues on. And beyond that, I also hope that you find little sweet intimate ways to be a little bit more happy this week and as we go into the holidays and everything along those lines. So I know and trust that you're going to have a beautiful week. I will see you next Monday. And if you need anything between now and then, I'm sure you know how to find us. Okay, everyone. Talk soon. Bye.